Hey y'all, it's Bear, and today I'm here to do a pretty chunky book haul. I don't often do book hauls because I don't tend to obtain books at like a very fast rate. I'm very careful with what I spend my money on, what works with my budget, and I thrift a lot. That being said, lately, in the past couple of months, I've just somehow come into possession of quite a few books. So let's get started with books sent from publishers and authors. From Living Corrido, I have Everything You Ever Wanted to Know About Indians But Were Too Afraid to Ask by Anton Trier. I am excited to read this one. I want to do a full review video or just a discussion on it whenever I have time to read it. From what I've gathered, from what I've heard from other native reviewers, basically, this is a good book to read if you are just getting started into being an Indigenous ally. This book covers a lot of topics and is a good, introductory course into how to be more of an ally, be more aware of what you're doing, how to help, and quit being a shitty person. Then I have an arc that I'm currently reading right now that will be in a future reading vlog pretty soon, and that is The Inheritance of Orquídea Divina by Zoraida Cordova. Basically, Orquídea is kind of like the matriarch of the family, and she sends out letters to all of her family members saying, I'm dying, come collect your inheritance. She dies, and now someone is going around the Montoya family picking them off one by one as they're learning to deal with this new magic that they have. It's very interesting, it's very engrossing. This one comes out on September 7th, and like I said, I am reading it for a vlog that will be posted pretty soon, so keep an eye out for that. But thank you to Living Corrido and Zoraida for sending me books. I really appreciate it. Now, let's talk about books that I received from friends or subscribers or people on Twitter. Let's do that next. Sage sent me a couple of books. We have The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin, which I recently read for my Gemini video. I will link that downstairs for you to go check out. It was a really fun vlog, and I had a lot of fun with it. This is an adult fantasy novel that takes place in modern-day New York, where each of the 5 boroughs of New York have an avatar trying to fight this woman in white who is coming to, take over New York City. Then we have Friday Black, which is a short story collection, very dark stories that deal with racism. I also sent The Sound of Stars by Alicia Dow, which I've heard is like a YA sci-fi with an android and an illegal library, and I've heard it's gonna make me cry. We have a book from Mallory, and that is The Secrets of Ventriloquism, which I read, and I really enjoyed. This book is another short story collection that doesn't seem like it's connected, but it's all interconnected. They don't all have to do with ventriloquism, but they all kind of have to do with ventriloquism. It's very weird. It's very freaky. I have a phobia of ventriloquist dummies, so I think that definitely added to the creepiness, but this cover just looks like that thing is staring in your soul, ready to eat you. Thank you so much, Mallory, for sending this and the very sweet note that you put with it. I'm not going to read the note on camera. I feel like that's weird, but thank you so much. Then I talked about this one in my mid-year freak out book tag, but Neil sent me The Witch King by H.E. Edgman. And this is a YA fantasy novel about a trans witch who, in order to escape the magical realm, enters the human realm, and people try and find him. There's themes of colonization. The author is seminal. I'm very excited to read it, so thank you, Neil, for sending this to me. Then we have a book sent from Josie, and that is One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston, and this is from what I've gathered, a meet-cute, kind of speculative-y book about a girl who ends up time-traveling on the Q train to New York. Thank you to Josie for sending me this one as well. Then we have an anonymous gift, and this one just had a smiley face on it, but we have The Black Shoals by Tiffany Lethabo King. This is Offshore Formations of Black and Native Studies, and this is a nonfiction book. It's a critical ethnicity study about the way that Black studies and Native studies and slavery and Native genocide and all of these things, how it's all a product of colonization and racism and systemic oppression. I plan on doing a lot of nonfiction this November for Indigathon. I have a lot of Native nonfiction that I want to get to, so I'm very excited to add this one to my TBR. At the end of the day, it's important. Yes, I'm on BookTube to read, but it's also important that I dedicate time to nonfiction and learning real world things. I can read all the cute contemporaries I want, but I also need to be putting in the time and putting in the effort to read nonfiction. So whoever sent this to me, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and it's a wonderful addition to my TBR. Now, onto the books that I bought myself. Most of these are thrifted. We have The Ones We're Meant to Find. I talked about this one also in my mid-year freakout book tag. Sci-fi dystopian about 2 sisters, and it's cli-fi vibes, and I'm very excited. Then we have Ace of Spades. This one has been very popular online recently. I bought this on debut day, or as close to debut day as I actually could, because I was so excited to pick it up. And this book follows two students at this elite prep school who were selected to be prefects, and a weird text gets sent. Things about them that they want to keep quiet are starting to get exposed. It's a YA thriller that I have heard nothing but amazing things about, so I am so excited to read this one. Then I got these two for like a buy one get one half off sale. We have The House in Abigail Lane by Vela, about this house on Abigail Lane, clearly. But the way this is written, it's told in a documentary style nonfiction setting. So it's like all of these stories and articles that are compiled about this house on Abigail Lane in relation to like real world events of when things were happening. It's very interesting. It was very well done. I've already read this one. And Universal Harvester, which is a speculative horror thriller. I don't really know the vibe of this book. I know that my friend Wheezy read it and did not like it. This takes place in the 90s, and it follows this guy named Jeremy who works at like a video rental store. And all of the people in the town are bringing back their videotapes saying there's something weird on this. So Jeremy starts to watch the tapes back and realize that like it all points to this one place in town. We have another book that I talked about in my mid-year freakout book tag, and that is Darling Rose Gold by Stephanie Roble. This follows a girl who is trying to get revenge on her mother who had Munchausen by proxy. The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. I think everyone knows what this one is about at this point, but if you don't, it is about a woman who is a nanny for these children. The children ends up dead. They stay at this smart house, and the book is, I think, told in a series of letters to her lawyer trying to convince him that she didn't kill the kid. I picked this one up at Out of the Closet, which is a thrift store in Orlando. I believe they have locations elsewhere in the country, but it's a really cool place where every dollar you spend, 96 cents of it gets donated to HIV and AIDS research. They also have rapid testing for HIV and an in-house pharmacy for people to get medication. I thought it was a really cool place. That's a really cool cause, and I wanted to share that with you. So I will leave their website link down below. You can check and see if there's any locations near you. Not sponsored. I just think it's great. Next, I have two William Slater books, one I've read already, one I have not, and these were both suggested to me by my fiance, Will. Will is a huge science fiction nerd and always somehow gives me great recommendations for sci-fi, which is not something I usually go for. So first, we have The Duplicate, which follows a boy who discovers this machine washed up on the beach that basically he learns he can duplicate himself. So he can go to his grandma's birthday party and also go hang out with like the hot girl from his math class. But they run into issues whenever they realize that they need to get food, they need somewhere to stay, their parents are starting to kind of get suspicious, and neither one of them can agree on who's the original one because they both have the same memories leading up to the duplication process. The more duplicates you make, the further away personality-wise you get from the original. There's some murder attempts in here. It's very dramatic for it to be like under 200 pages, and it's a lot of fun. Then we have the other William Slater book that Will recommended to me, and that is House of Stairs. And the way that Will got me to pick this up is because they told me that it was like Cube. This follows 5 orphans who wake up one day and they are in this room. There's no ceiling, there's no walls, it's just stairs going everywhere. And this red machine that they discover gives them food pellets whenever they do what it says. But it starts to tell them to do darker and darker things, and they have to fight to survive. Then we have 6 books from my personal literary hero, R.L. Stine. I'm trying to collect the entire series, and honestly, I've been having great luck with eBay. The first one I want to show is The New Girl. This is the first Fear Street book ever, and this is also a first edition, which I thought was really fucking cool. I'm not a kind of person who cares about what edition of a book I have, but I just think it's really neat that I have a first edition of the first book in one of my favorite series of all time. And this follows a boy named Corey who finds himself attracted to the new girl, but doesn't know if she's alive or dead. We have The Cheater, which follows Carter, who's not the best at math, but needs to get into Princeton so she won't disappoint her father. So she makes a deal with the school's resident, like, bad boy math prodigy that she'll go on a date with him if he takes her test for her, and then he starts to blackmail her. Then we have The Wrong Number, which follows 3 teenagers who start making prank phone calls on Dina's landline, and in order to prove to the girls that nothing bad happens on Fear Street, Chuck makes a call where they hear a woman being murdered. Bad Dreams, which is one I've never actually read before, so I'm really excited for this one. And this one follows a girl named Maggie who keeps waking up from having nightmares in her new house on Fear Street, where a girl gets stabbed in the same bed that Maggie is sleeping in. Then we have one of the Fear Street super chillers. We have A Party Summer, which I read a lot. I reread this one a ton whenever I was younger. And this one follows a girl named Kari and her friends who are staying at the Howling Wolf Inn. The house is basically deserted. Someone tells them to leave immediately, and then Simon Fear III starts picking them off one by one, a la The Most Dangerous Game. And then finally we have another R.L. Stine book, but this isn't in Fear Street, this is in Point Horror, and that is The Babysitter, which creeped me the fuck out whenever I was younger. And this follows a girl named Jenny who's really starting to regret the babysitting job that she picked up, whenever she starts to get mysterious phone calls asking her if she's all alone and telling her that company is coming. So that's all I have for you today. 24 books that I have. Some of them I read, some of them I haven't. If you were someone who sent me a book, or you're a publisher or an author who sent me a book, thank you so much. I always appreciate it. A comment question of the day. Let me know what the most recent book you've obtained is, and if you've read any of these books, let me know your thoughts about them downstairs. And if you don't have time, you don't have the spoons, you don't have an answer, you don't want to answer, let me know you made it all the way until the video by leaving me an emoji, preferably a yellow heart or a smiley face emoticon. Alright, I hope you have a wonderful, whatever it is, wherever you are. I will see you next time with another video. Thank you for watching. Okay, cool. Bye. Now I have to try and hold all of these for the thumbnail.